What's going on, everybody? It's Big T with GreenWallSt.com, back with another trading video, this time on VERU. This was one of the top gapping, top moving stocks on Friday that I ended up trading in the morning. And yeah, just wanted to do a quick live trading recap. Hopefully you guys find some value in these videos and they're helping out. If they do, be sure to show some love to the like button, subscribe if you happen to be new here. And without further ado, let's walk through the thought process on VERU. So I try not to overcomplicate things. As someone who primarily short stocks, I want them to be going down and to the right, not up and to the right. So VERU, at this point, I'm watching it. This is 2 minutes past the open, but all pre-market, it's been moving up and to the right. So I'm watching it and I'm waiting for the momentum to start to shift, right? You see green candle after green candle, higher high after higher low. I'm waiting for something to show me that dynamic is starting to shift, and a couple minutes after the open, we start to get that. So you see, big volume come up, stocks all the way at 1170, and immediately we fall about 50 cents a share. I don't know at this point for sure if that's the top. It definitely couldn't be, and I probably jumped the gun a little bit on this. Most of the time, I'm not like putting on a starter position and then feeling it out and then trying to add to it. But sometimes I do. So I put a starter position on. If it broke 1170 from here, I would have just taken the loss and lost, like $200 or whatever, and then waited for a better opportunity. But ended up, getting a really good entry on this stock. Now at this point, now that we fell to, 1090, I think we even fall all the way back to 1070. Okay, now all of a sudden, you zoom out on a 1 minute chart, a 2 minute chart, maybe even a 5 minute chart. You can see that now the stock's really starting to run into some trouble. So we're no longer making higher lows, right? We don't know if it's going to make a higher high, but now that we've cracked the trend, we've lost VWAP, right, the volume weighted average price. Now I'm interested in putting more size into the short if we bounce back into resistance. So I want to be there on the first time we get back in there, right? Because that first moment, the first chance the stock has to test resistance, that's one that typically has the highest probability of holding as resistance and working. So it's a bit scary being there and shorting into 11 or 1110 here, but that's the risk of the trade. That's where I want to put the risk on. So I ended up with about an 1110-ish average, but I'm saving more of my size and my position. And if I wasn't in any, if I never put on that starter, now I could just put it all on right here, because this is the do or die spot. It's either going to hold or it ain't. And if it don't, I'll stop out. If it does, I make money, right? It's quite simply pretty simple. It's not easy, but it is a pretty simple concept. So now as we start to roll over, now all of a sudden the risk changes. So whereas my risk initially, was maybe 1150, 1170, this is where a lot of people, I don't think they quite, not that they don't understand, but like risk changes as the chart changes. As the trade evolves, the risk reward profile of the trade evolves too. Because right now I'm up $500 in the trade, right? So, if I'm waiting for 1050, right, to cover, I am now, instead of risking, initially what might have been, I'm risking 500 to make 700. Well, now all of a sudden, if I'm up 500, now I'm risking like 1,000. If I let the same levels play out and I still stop out at 1150, well, now all of a sudden the risk changes, because I'm up 500, and am I really going to risk $1,000, the 500 that I'm up, and then take the $500 stop loss to make an extra 200? You know what I mean? The risk reward evolves as you move throughout the trade. So that's why you really have to react, and like everybody's risk is going to be different. So once I get a trade like this that is now working in my favor, well, guess what? It's either going to do what I fucking want it to do or it ain't. But at this point, I'm not taking a loss on this trade. I'm not letting it come all the way back on me, because if it's going to be easy, it's just going to work. So I'm watching this 1070 level. I'm thinking, okay, 1070 support. Let's see the market flush under that, run everybody's stops, and I'll use that liquidity to cover my position. But we start holding 1070. So I give it, a solid minute, 45 seconds of like testing 1070, testing 1070. I'm waiting for it to break. But it didn't do it. So what do? I lock some of that motherfucker in. I cover some of it, right? Because it's proving to me that it wants to hold. So I cover half the position just to be safe. That way, if it does come back on me, I can stop out on the rest, break even. And now I've got a trade where really I was kind of wrong on the idea. It didn't work, to its full potential, but I still made money. And at the end of the day, that's all I'm trying to do is just make some money, right? 95% of people lose money trading. Just make money. Anyway, and then again, I'm absorbing information. The trade is evolving. So if I cover some at support, I want to see what that next bounce does. Let me see. Does that bounce still stay heavy? Does it still have problems? Or does it just rip back through resistance? Wow, it's having problems. I could just put that half size position right back on, right? So I stayed safe in case it went up here, right? But if it stays heavy, I can put it back on. Trading is all about creating these if-then scenarios. I never know exactly what the fuck a stock is going to do. I'm reacting to what it's doing, right? I cover some at support if it's holding, right? And then, if the bounce stays heavy, then I short more. If the bounce was strong, I'll stop out. I don't know what it's going to do. I'm reacting to what it's doing. And when you start reacting instead of, trying to predict the future, that's when, trading starts to get fun. So now that we do flush under support, bam, I'm out of the entire position. And I think I do end up shorting it as we kind of come back up into resistance again. So again, I'm assuming that same level, 11.10 is going to hold as resistance. Because this is only the second time it's testing it, but you'll see this is where, a bit of gut feel comes into play. I short that move and it starts to work. But then all of a sudden, as we start to flush, again, I'm staying safe. I'm covering half. And then I see what I don't want to see. Like if the stock is, downtrending, you would expect it to continue to downtrend. It would break a 1050, make new lows, and keep downtrending. Instead, what happens is you see these like high volume wicks back up and it starts holding higher lows. It starts rounding out a little bit. So that's when I cover the rest of my position. And now I'm not shorting 11 or 11.10, right? Because the whole dynamic of the stock has changed. Now we're holding higher lows. We've already tested resistance twice. Why do I want to be there on the third time? The answer is I don't. Let somebody else take that. I want to be there on the first time. I want to be there maybe on the second time, third, fourth, fifth time. Miss me with that shit, because the more times a level gets tested, better chance it has to break. And that ended up being exactly what happened. And that's why I didn't get caught in some sort of major short squeeze. So a stock that, honestly was pretty difficult to trade, I ended up making $932 or whatever it was, $937. So yeah. And now at this point in the trade, you're at high of day. I'm completely avoiding it short now. I don't want to be shorting. I will never short a stock at the high of the day. It just doesn't make sense. So now I can continue to stay patient and restart the whole process, just waiting for it to show signs that it's breaking down, short into resistance, stay safe, cover some, react to what the stock is doing, and just try to make some money. Just make money every day. That's that's all you gotta do is just make money every day. So it's simple in concept, but it is difficult in real time to kind of apply all of this and think about it. But that's what that's what day trading is. I think that's why I like it so much. Is it's very game like. It's very if you are the type of person who maybe you played professional video games, or maybe you're just really good at video games, and more importantly, really good at making good decisions, the right decision in high stress environments, fast paced, high stress environments. making the right decision, whether that's, you know, shorting where you need to short or stopping out where you need to stop out. Very little hesitation, not focused on outcomes, just focused on process and doing the thing well. I think you can be really good at day trading, but you got to care more about trading well than you do about making money. The whole time I'm in this, I'm not thinking about making fucking money. I don't care. What I care about is that sexy ass chart. I care about doing the thing well. I couldn't care less about the $1,000. I mean, it's nice. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for money, but that's not even going through my mind when I'm doing the thing. You know, I place restrictions on myself. I know what my risk is on each ticker, right? So I've uploaded videos about max loss per ticker, max loss per day. I know what the worst case scenario is. So now that I have that out of the way and I'm okay with it, like if I make the worst decisions ever, that's as bad as it's going to get, and I'm locked out of my program for the day, that's fine. So now let me play within that without thinking so much about it, right? I know the worst case scenario, so let me just play the game and see what the outcome is later on in the day. That's kind of the way I think about it. But anyway, that was VERU. Thank you all so much for tuning into the video. Let me know if that was helpful, and I will catch you right back here next time. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like if you didn't just refresh it and give it one more chance. And as always, guys, I don't really have